part 151 of ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss how to select a master page dynamically at runtime. Before proceeding with this video, I strongly recommend to watch parts 147 and 149 from the ASP.NET tutorial. This is what we want to achieve in this video. We're going to have a drop-down list on the master page, and that drop-down list is going to list all the master pages that are available in our entire project. As we select a master page from the drop-down list, we want that selected master page to be dynamically set as the master page. So notice that on the left hand side we have master page 1 selected from the drop-down list, and this is how master page 1 looks like. And on the right hand side, notice that we have master page 2 selected, and this is how master page 2 looks like. Notice that we have a different color scheme, and the menu section is actually present on the right hand side on master page 2. So basically the idea here is to set master page dynamically at runtime. Let's see how to achieve this. Let's flip to Visual Studio. So here I have a blank ASP.NET Web Forms application. First, let's add a class file, and let's call this base master page. As the name suggests, this is going to be the base class for all the master pages that we are going to have in our project. And this class is going to be an abstract class, because this class is going to contain some abstract properties. And this class is going to inherit from system.web.ui.masterPage class. Typically, when we add a master page to our project, master pages by default inherit from this class system.web.ui.masterpage. Now we want this class to be acting as the base class for all our master pages in our project. So we made this class inherit from the .NET Framework master page class, and then the master pages that we are going to add are going to inherit from this base master page class. Okay, and in a bit we'll understand the advantage of doing this. Okay, so this class is going to contain three abstract properties. The first property is actually going to return a panel control, and all the ASP.NET Web controls are present in system.web.ui.webcontrols namespace. So let's go ahead and bring that namespace in. So we want this property to return a panel control, and let's call the property as search panel. Since this is going to be an abstract property, we are not going to implement the get accessor. In a similar fashion, we are going to have two more abstract properties. The other abstract property is actually going to return a text box, and let's call this search text box. And the third property is going to return a button control, and let's call this property search button. So basically what these properties are returning, the first property is returning a panel, this property is returning a text box, and this property a button. So basically the panel that surrounds the search interface, the search text box, and the search button. Alright, now the next step is to actually add a master page. So let's right click on the project name, add a new item, and we want to add a master page, and let's call this site.master. Okay, so there we go, we have the master page. But then to get the layout that we see in the slide here, I have already implemented the HTML, and this is the same HTML that we discussed in parts 147 and 149. So I'm not going to go into the details of this HTML. I'm simply going to copy this and then go to the master page that we have added. So first of all, let's get rid of the content placeholder that's present within the head section, and then here I'm going to get rid of this div tag and paste the HTML that we have just copied. And if you look at this HTML, this is the same HTML which we discussed in parts 147 and 149. Okay, the thing that we have to pay attention here is the content placeholder. Look at the ID of the content placeholder, it's main content. Okay, so when we flip this to the design mode, notice that we have a similar interface here. All that we need to do now is to actually add this drop down list in the menu section on the left hand side here. So let's actually flip this to the source mode, and then here we have the menu section. So let's get rid of that. I'm going to use a bold tag and then simply say select master page, and then here we're going to have a drop down list control. So let's drag and drop a drop down list control, and within this drop down list control I'm going to have two list items. One is going to say master page 1, the other list item will say master page 2. So let's go ahead and add a list item. So ASP list item, text on this one is going to be, let's say, master page 1, and value is going to be the path for that master page. Okay, so master page 1 will be the site.master, and this site.master is present in the root directory. So I'm going to use the tilde character / site.master. Okay, so let's copy and paste this, and let's call it, maybe master page 2, and the second master page is going to be site2.master. We don't have that yet. We'll add that in just a bit. Okay, so basically this should give us what you see in the slide. So we have that title there, select master page, and then the drop down list. Alright, now within the code behind file of this master page, so let's actually get to the code behind file. So we are going to make this master page, the site master page. Look at this, by default it's inheriting from system.web.ui.masterpage. Instead of that, we're going to make this inherit from base master page class that we have just created. Okay, now look at this base master page class has got 3 abstract properties. So obviously this master page, which is inheriting from that base master page class, has to provide implementations for those properties. And if you remember, again in part 149 we discussed implementing those properties. So basically I'm going to copy the implementations for the properties and paste them within the master page. And if you look at these properties, they are very straightforward. So what are they doing? They are returning the search panel control, the search text box control, and the search button controls. I think the IDs are a little different on the master pages, So let's go ahead and fix them first. So let's see what is the search text box is called. So it's called as text box 1. Let's actually call it txt search, so that we don't have that compilation error. And let's call the button as btn search, and the panel as search panel, panel search. Alright, so let's save everything. At this point, within our master page, we have provided the implementations for the properties that we have in the base class. Now we need to use the override keyword because we are providing the implementations. Okay, so let's build a solution to make sure everything compiles. So we have two errors. Website, webforms demo.site does not implement inherited abstract member search textbox.get. Let's see what is the name of the property here. So the property name here is search term. So that's actually, so basically this property should return the text that is present within the search text box. So the return type has actually should be string. So within our base master page, let's correct that. So this has to be string, and let's call the property as search term. So that should get rid of the error. Okay, so build succeeded. Alright, now within the master page we have this drop down list control. So we need to set two things here. First, we need to set auto post back to true, And once we double click this, obviously the event handler will be generated. So what do we want to do when the selection in the drop down list has changed? We want to set that selected master page as the master page. Okay, so basically what we are going to do here is we are going to store something in the session variable. So I'm going to use a key called selected underscore master page. So within this variable we are going to store whatever we have selected within the drop down list, and then we are going to redirect the user to the same page. In a bit you'll understand why we are doing that. So response.redirect, and where do we want to redirect the user? We want to redirect him to the same page, and to get the URL of the page that the user is on, I'm going to use request object URI property dot absolute URI. Okay, and then I'm also going to include a pre-render event for this master page. So page load, let's change the name to pre-render. So when is this event fired? Just before the page is about to be rendered. So within the pre-render event, what we are going to do is check if there is something within this session variable. So if session of selected master page, if that is not equal to null, then dropdown list 1 dot selected value equals whatever value that is present within the session variable. This may be a little confusing at this point of time, but don't worry, we're going to discuss why we are redirecting the user to the same page, and why we have to set the selected value of the drop down list. Okay, we're going to understand that in just a bit. Alright, so that's all the code that we need on our first master page. Now let's go ahead and add another master page. Now if you look at this master page, this is how the color scheme is. Notice that the menu section is present on the left hand side. Now let me add another master page to this project, and let's call this maybe site2.master. Okay, to speed things up, I'm going to copy the content that's present in our site.master. So let's copy all this HTML. And then paste that within our master page 2. So we are going to get the same layout, but we want a different color scheme, and we want this menu section to be present on the right hand side. So first of all, let's change the color scheme, and to do that, within the source mode, this is the first TD here, let's set the background color to maybe red. Okay, and then let's set the background color of this TD. First of all, we want that menu section on the right hand side, so I'm just going to cut this TD from there and put that on the right hand side. Okay, so at this point, if we flip this to the design mode, notice that we have red background color, and then the menu section is present on the right hand side, and we want this font color to be white. So what we're going to do here is, at the table level, let's set color to white. Okay, and let's change the background color of this TD to green, and let's actually, this TD is green and this TD is blue. So we have set the main content placeholder to have green color, and let's set this to blue. So this one, let's set it to blue, and finally footer, let's set the footer also to red. Okay, so at this point, let's flip this to the design mode. Look at that, we have a similar layout. Okay, now within the code behind file of the site2.master, let's copy and paste this code. So we are copying the code that we have inside basically the first master page code behind file, and we're going to paste that in the code behind file of master page 2. Okay, and another thing that we need to do is make this site 2 master page inherit from our common base master page class. Okay, so at this point we have two master pages, both of them inherit from our base master page. Okay, the next step is to actually add a base page class. So let's add a class file and let's call this base page. So this class, as the name suggests, this is going to be the base class for all content pages that we are going to have in our entire application. So by default, when you add a web form is going to inherit from system.web.ui.page class. Okay, so we're going to make this base page class inherit from that page class, which is present in system.web.ui.page class. Okay, and we are going to override one property, that is on PreInit. In a bit you'll understand why we are doing this. And basically what we are going to do in this event is that we are going to set the master page dynamically. So we are going to check, if you remember, within the master page, when the selection within the drop down list changes, we are storing the selected master page within the session variable. So basically we are going to check, we're going to have an exact similar condition on our base page. So if session of selected master page not equal to null, then what we are going to do, we're going to set the master page file, okay, to whatever that is present within the session variable. So this dot master page file equals the value that is present. And now the next step is to add a content page. So I'm going to select this first master page, so that is site.master. Right click on that, add a content page. So look at this, at the moment we have master page file set to site.master. And then another thing that I'm going to do here is specify master type directive. What is the advantage of specifying master type directive? This is going to give us a strongly typed reference that is associated with the master page. And instead of using virtual path, I'm going to use type name here. Now, for the master pages that we have in our application, what is the common base page? That is base master page.cs. Okay, and this class is actually present in web forms demo namespace. So the type name here is going to be base master page. That's the name of the class. And then we need to specify the fully qualified name here. So let's include the namespace as well. What is the namespace? Web forms demo. So let's say web forms demo dot base master page. Okay, and within the content placeholder, basically we want to display all the students. So let's drag and drop a grid view control. And within the code behind file. Okay, now another important thing here, look at this, when we added this web form, it's inheriting from system.web.ui.page. Instead of that, we're going to make this class inherit from the base page class that we have created. So if you look at this base page class, this class is inheriting from system.web.ui page, and in this base page we have overridden the PreInit event. Within the PreInit event, we are setting the master page file here dynamically with whatever value that we have stored in the session variable. Okay, alright, so now I'm going to write some ADO.NET code basically to retrieve data from this table TBL students. Now we discussed the ADO.NET code to retrieve data from this table in part 149 of the ASP.NET tutorial. So I'm not going to go into the details of that. I'm simply going to copy this function and paste it within the code behind file of our webform1.aspx. So here we have a private method which is going to get data from this table TBL students. Now this is ADO.NET code, so we need some ADO.NET namespaces. So let's bring them in. System.data. Similarly, we need system.data.sql client and system.configuration. Okay, so that should get rid of the errors. Alright, so this is the stored procedure sp search students that we are executing. Again, we discussed how to implement the stored procedure in part 149. So basically, what is the stored procedure doing? Select all the students where the student name contains whatever search term that's coming into the stored procedure. Okay. Alright, so basically within the page load event, if it's not a post back, then what we want to do, we want to invoke this method get data, and let's pass null. Okay, because we want to display all the students on the page load. Okay, but then whenever somebody enters some search term here and then click that search button, we want to include only those students whose name contains the search term that we entered in the search text box. And basically, to achieve that, again, we discussed that in detail in part 149. Okay, so basically what we are going to do here is in the page initialization event. So let's copy this event handler. So in page init, so I'm going to use the master property here. Master dot, there is a property called search button which is going to return the search button that is available on the master page. Now what is the master page for this class? If you look at the code behind file, look at that, we have specified master type, and we haven't hard coded the master type to either site.master or site2.master. Why is that? That's basically because we want to be in a position to change the master pages dynamically at runtime, and that's the reason we have created this base master page class, and we made these two master pages, that is site.master and site2.master, inherit from that base master page class. And if you look at this base master page class, we have this abstract property here: search panel, search button, and search term. Okay, and the respective master pages have overridden these properties, meaning they have provided implementations for these properties. And since now within the content page the type is base master page, and that base master page contains basically the references to properties, we can reference them in the code behind file of the content page. Look at this, we get a strongly typed reference, search button. Okay, and look at this, where is that search button coming from? Our base master page. Okay, so basically we are moving all the common properties that we want to access from the content page into that base master page class. Okay, so search button property is basically going to return the search button on the master page, and then we are going to associate an event handler method for the click event. So plus equals, press tab twice, that's going to generate this event handler method. So within search button underscore click, what we need to do is invoke our get data method. So let's invoke this get data method and then pass the search term. Again, where are we going to get the search term from? Our base master page class. So there is this property search term. So get data master dot search term should give us that. Alright. So with all these changes, let's actually run, and if we have implemented everything right, we should be able to change master pages dynamically at runtime. Okay, so when the web form first displays, it should use site.master, that is the first master page. Look at that, we have that gray color scheme, and the menu section is present on the left hand side. Now let me select master page 2. Look at that, and look at the selection that is retained as well. Now let me select master page 1. So we are back at master page 1. Okay, so it's working as expected. Now let's try and understand what's actually happening within the master page. So why are we redirecting the user to the same page again? That's because when we have to set a master page dynamically, keep in mind that the master page and content page are merged during the initialization stage of the page processing. Okay, so a master page must be assigned before the initialization stage. So that's why we generally assign a master page dynamically during the PreInit stage. Okay, so if you keep this statement in mind and look at what's happening here, look at this drop down list 1 underscore selected index change. This is a post back event. So within the post back event, we are storing the selected master page within the drop down list. Now post back event happens way after pre-init event. So at the same point you can't change the master page dynamically. So what we are doing here is we are storing the selected master page in a session variable, and then we are reloading the same page once again. And within the pre-init event, what we are doing, so if you look at base page, so within the pre-init event we are setting the master page file dynamically. Okay, because by this time in the session variable we have the selected master page from the drop down list, and we are setting that as the master page file. It's as simple as that. That is the reason why we are redirecting the user to the same page. Okay, and then why do we need to set this once again? Because once we have selected, ASP.NET controls should remain their view state. But why do we need to do that? That's basically because we are redirecting the user, so it's like a brand new request to that page. Okay, so that's why within the page pre-render event we will check what is there within the session variable, and then we'll retrieve that and then store as the selected value for the drop down list. If you comment this event handler, then basically this drop down list is not going to remember those selections. Alright, now look at this. You may be wondering, why did we create this base page? Can't we have this method within the page itself? A page can have pre-init event. So within the pre-init event we can actually copy and paste this code, and it's going to work the same way. But the reason why we have done this in the base page is because tomorrow if we have to add another content page, we don't have to copy and paste this code on that content page once again. All we need to do is make that content page inherit from this base page class, and it's all going to fall in place automatically. Let's actually look at that. So let's add a content page, another content page. Let's right click on this master page, add a content page. So first of all we need to set the master type. So master type, and then specify the type name. Type name is going to be webforms demo is the namespace, and what is the name of the class? The base master page class, base master page. So let's copy the name of the class and paste it here. So the first step is to specify the type name, and the second step is to make this webform2 inherit from our base page class. Okay, so this is webform2, and within the content placeholder let's simply use an h2 tag and say this is webform2. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this now. Initially when this webform2 loads, it uses the first master page, but then we should be able to dynamically look at this. This is webform2 master page 2, and we are on the master page 2. Okay, so basically it's very easy now to add content pages as well. There are 2 steps. All you need to do is specify the master type directive, and within the code behind file make that content page inherit from the base page class, and you're done. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.